The Warriors made a splash by signing Kevin Durant, but it's not going to change how one Splash brother feels. Klay Thompson speaking with The Vertical on the addition of Kevin Durant to his team. Quote, I feel kind of disrespected that people keep using the term sacrifice to describe me and describe us, but I'm not sacrificing bleep because my game is not changing. I'm still going to try to get buckets, hit shots, come off screens. I want to win and have a fun time every game we play. Stephen A., could trouble be brewing? Could this be a problem for the Warriors?
No trouble. This is a highly intellectual basketball team. They're very, very smart. And anybody who knows anything about the game of basketball recognizes how great Klay Thompson is. Klay Thompson averaged 22 points a game, shot 47% from the field, shot 42% from three-point range. He's a career 42% shooter from three-point range, okay, and 45% shooter from the field. He's averaged better than 21 points a game the last 2 years. His 41-point explosion in Game 6 against Kevin Durant's OKC Thunder, I might add, shows me all I need to know. The Splash Brothers are universally recognized as the greatest shooting backcourt we have ever seen. Klay Thompson is one of the Splash Brothers. What he has done is what Kevin Durant is aspiring to do. Is he the complete all-around superstar that Kevin Durant is? No, he is not. But Kevin Durant came to his squad. It ain't the other way around. Kevin Durant wants to be a champion. Klay Thompson is already a champion. Klay Thompson has also been to 2 NBA Finals appearances, and it damn sure wasn't his fault that the Golden State Warriors didn't end up, or not sitting here today, rather, as back-to-back NBA champions. So I don't want to hear about him deferring to anybody. When you're that kind of a marksman, that quick release, that level of accuracy, and you put the ball in the hole the way that he has, you defer to no one outside of Steph Curry, and that's only because he's your point guard who's running the offense and distributing you the basketball. And last point, I find it reprehensible, and I've said this on several occasions, that the only time I ever hear anything really about Klay Thompson is on this show. His daddy is a champion who happens to work for our network, and we don't talk about Klay Thompson nearly as much as we should. This dude is a star. He's one of the great shooters in the game of basketball, and he deserves to have the position that he has. He has the right to say it, and I applaud Kevin Durant as well for being smart enough to recognize it and not refuting it.
Speaking of my friend Michael Thompson, he's a two-time champion.
Two-time champion.
Who was drafted first overall, was dropping 20 and 12 when the Lakers traded for him to come off the bench for Kareem.
That's right.
Not only didn't complain once, thanked his lucky stars that he got to play for the Lakers.
That's right.
And Michael Thompson has raised this young man right.
Okay.
Klay Thompson has the heart of a killer. Don't let that nice guy stuff fool you. He's the guy who draws the toughest defensive assignment on that team while averaging more than 20 efficient points on the other end of the floor. Let's not listen, even in the playoffs, sometimes you'd see the offense getting ahead of itself. Guys are rushing shots. I didn't see one time where I thought, boy, Klay shouldn't have shot that. You know why? There isn't a shot that Klay shouldn't shoot. He has earned the right to shoot it at any point because there's a pretty damn good chance it's going in from downtown.
That's right.
Klay Thompson is capable of getting not as hot as anyone in history, hotter than any player who ever touched a basketball. How can I say that? The proof is in the pudding. He dropped 26 and a quarter about a year ago.
37 a year before that.
Excuse me. That's what I'm going to... That was his second highest quarter point total. And this 26 points in a quarter, which guys can't do alone in the gym, is your second highest point total. 37 points in a quarter smashed the all-time record. He is, so like, there it is. He's gotten hotter, 37 points in a quarter, than anyone who's ever lived. That man can shoot. I don't care if he's playing with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and whoever, and LeBron James. Right. He can shoot whenever he touches it if he wants. Now, the fact is, that attitude is going to help the team. That doesn't mean that Klay Thompson is not going to pass the ball. If he can pass up a good shot for a great shot, that doesn't mean he's going to be a bad teammate or Kevin Durant's not going to be able to do his thing. All he's saying is the attitude that got me to where I am is going to keep me on top. That's all. He's not saying anything detrimental to the team.
Well, he's not saying anything detrimental to the team, but the most important point is that he has the right to say it because of the things that we both articulated. He's earned the right to do it. And also, let's keep this in mind. There's plenty of players. Like I said, Kevin Durant, I thought that was a choke job in Game 6. Just one game.
Yeah.
He didn't choke in Game 7. Didn't choke in Game 5. But in Game 6, I thought that was a choke job. Steph Curry, you look at some of his performances, and, you know, he didn't resemble himself. What happened to Steph Curry? Steph Curry was on the verge of being a back-to-back champion and a two-time league MVP who wasn't going to be an MVP of the finals. Again, because it was Andre Iguodala last year, it was going to be Draymond Green this time around if Golden State had won. So when you look at it from that perspective, think about what we're saying about Klay Thompson here. We have never looked at Klay Thompson and said the moment was too big for him. We've looked at him and say, okay, the shot's not falling, you know, with regularity the way that it once was. But the way he plays and the manner in which he approaches the game, you see no wavering in his game.
I don't want to take a shot at Steph either, Stephen.
I'm saying
I don't want to take a shot either. I 100% agree with that point. There were moments in the playoffs and especially the finals. It pains me to say it because I predicted the Warriors were going to win the whole thing. Steph's going to be MVP and right the wrong from the year before where he seemed like there were moments. I hate to say it. I take no pleasure in this, where it looked to me like Steph didn't want it. I agree he wasn't physically 100%.
He wasn't physically. That's why I don't hold that against him.
You know what? Muhammad Ali had his jaw broken in the second round against Kenny Norton, still fought the rest of the way hard, you know, and lost a split decision.
This isn't boxing.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to hear the excuses. Who wants it? Klay Thompson missed some shots down the stretch in the big games of the finals, but not because he didn't want it. Just because sometimes you ain't going to hit all the shots. He never didn't want it.
But let's touch on the biggest point of this debate. Klay Thompson has the right to say what he said, and really what we're saying is, and what we're asking is, you know, should anybody have a problem with that because of the greatness of Kevin Durant? The answer is no. Because what Kevin Durant is pursuing, Klay Thompson already has.
Yep.
And Klay Thompson ain't come to Oklahoma City. Kevin Durant decided to go to Golden State. You have lost. I'm glad he didn't take that position.
I disagree with that. I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason you don't want Klay to change is because it gives you the best chance to win. Because that attitude that's made him the best two-way two-guard in the world, you want to keep. I don't care about the kind of unwritten rules about whose team it is and who's earned what in that sense. I don't care. Like Kevin Durant can come and piggyback their success.
But we're talking about his ability.
If it helps them win, Durant should do his thing.
But it has everything to do with it because without that attitude, to Golden State Warriors never won a championship. Without that attitude, they would not have gone to 2 consecutive NBA Finals. Because if Klay Thompson doesn't perform the way that he performed in Game 6, isn't Kevin Durant and OKC in the Finals?
You know what else it is? You know what else that I like about that Klay stuff is his dad is old school, and Klay got a little old school gangster in him. Like, I don't care who came and joined this team.
I liked it too. He got fired up.
I'm not changing a damn thing.
That's right.
Yep, and he stepped right up to it.
That's exactly how he should be.
All right, so speaking of stars, we have one joining us next here from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. We're at Steelers camp. Antonio Brown just rode over on the golf cart. He will be with us after the commercial break, so stay with us. First take on our NFL training camp tour.
And it is over the shoulder, caught by Antonio Brown. Throws it over the middle, touchdown, Antonio Brown. And this place erupts. Has time in the pocket, throws over the middle, Brown makes the catch, he's in the end zone, touchdown.
You look at what Antonio Brown's doing. He just finds a way to get open, finds a way to, you know, attack people down the field. I think it's close, but I think Antonio Brown's the best receiver in the game.
It was really challenging for our team to find highlights of you, just so you know. We had to really dig for that footage. This guy, arguably the best receiver in the NFL, needs no introduction. Antonio Brown here with us. We're at Steelers camp. You led the league in receptions last year, tied for the most and second most in NFL history. Pretty good season for you. Antonio, thank you for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. All right, no secret, you're unhappy with your contract, but you decided not to hold out. Why didn't you?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Dan Rooney. Obviously, holdouts never go well. And you can never supplement being in football shape and being around your teammates anywhere in the world other than training camp. And that's why I'm here. You know, the first step of getting better is showing up. And I want to start things off on a positive note.
Isn't that a problem for you, though, in the sense that no good deed goes unpunished?
Yeah.
So Antonio Brown, they know this is a guy who we don't have to pay him now because he's going to go out and put the work in and ball out regardless. So if we have another year, maybe if you weren't that type of guy, you get paid now. Do you ever consider that?
No, well, you know, it's my job to be ready to go when the season starts. You know, it's up to my agent to deal with all the other things. Right now, I'm just here singly focused on bettering my game and being ready to go.
Are you convinced that this might not happen for you this year, that you might have to go through this year and there is no discussion because the Rooneys and the way the Steelers do things, not with 2 years left, 3 years left, it's only when you got about 1 year left or less that they're going to negotiate your deal? Are you prepared to go this season knowing that the likelihood of you getting that contract extension is not going to happen?
Well, my focus is simply just getting better, letting Drew Rosenhaus take care of all those things. I'm just here to do my part in regards to being in shape and being ready and putting my wood on display. I know things will fall in place.
You had the same amount of receptions as Julio Jones last year, 136. Had 1,800-plus yards. He had a little bit more. But somebody like myself and others, I look at you because of what you do with punt returns, not just as a wide receiver. I consider you the best in the game. Do you consider yourself the best in the game, or do you think that there's somebody out there that deserves to be compared to you?
Well, there's no doubt, man. You know, I'm one of the top guys in the league. There's a lot of other guys that's out there doing it. A lot of other guys I commend myself to, but I consider myself one of those guys.
And yet, are you like? I look at the Steelers, I go, man, Ben Roethlisberger's going to the Hall of Fame. He should be in the best quarterback in the league argument more than he is. Le'Veon Bell, when he's on the field, that's the best running back in the game. Like, are you even the best offensive player on your own team?
Well, we got a lot of great players. You know, speak volumes of our quarterback, Hall of Famer quarterback, our center, our offensive lineman in general, our running back. I mean, we got a great team, not only great individuals, but a great offense collectively, and we want to do positive things.
Are you happy with the season that you had last year, or are you a bit frustrated at its ending? The hit by Vontaze Burfict, knocking you out, making you miss the AFC Championship game, in a lot of people's eyes, potentially costing you guys a Super Bowl berth, because if you were on the field, you might have beat the Denver Broncos. Have you looked at looking back on last season, what kind of thoughts have been going through your mind throughout this entire offseason?
Well, I got to come out and be more aggressive. Obviously, I wasn't there with my teammates to help them in the crucial moment of the playoffs, and that still stick with me. But I got to continue to grow and get better, and each year you got to take a step. And I'm just excited to be here healthy and ready to get things going.
How do you stop a shot like the shot Burfict hit you with from changing you as a player? You talked about being fearless and everything. How do you control that?
Well, you can't have no fear. You know, it's like a NASCAR driver who's been in an accident. You know, you can't get in the car with fearful thoughts. You got to have faith, and you just got to go out and be more aggressive.
Have you noticed a difference since then, or it's the same guy? Tell us the truth. Same Antonio Brown since then?
I think my swag got a little bit better. You know.
How could your swag have gotten a little bit better? I mean, no disrespect. That was a devastating hit. And Vontaze Burfict is a big boy. I mean, how do you get up with more swag under those circumstances?
Pick some swag up on the ground while you were down there? What happened?
Well, you got to be more aggressive. You know, you play this game long enough, you're going to get hit, you know, and that just come a part of playing football and being in the game. And obviously that hit actually won us the game, so it's called take one for the team.